Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de YouTube? ¿Cómo están? Y de Twitch, yo soy a la Rebelde. Vengo a hacer un directo hoy para reaccionar y compartir con ustedes todos mis pensamientos, mis opiniones de los nuevos artefactos que nos van a mostrar.
This is Aver. Can you hear an echo?
This is Batuba. Can you hear an echo?
Y como pueden ver, están haciendo ya las pruebas de sonido. Esta madre va a empezar en cualquier momento. Vamos a ver con qué nos sorprenden. Okay. Van a ser luego 4 artefactos. Son 4 artefactos nuevos. Uno se llama el Ojo de Géminis, el otro se llama el Orbe de Orion, el otro se llama los Manacles of Force, que serían como que las esposas, algo así de fuerza, y el otro es el cetro del Rey Muerto, Dead King Scepter. Okay. Así que vamos a ver qué es lo que nos trae la gente de DCUO.
Hello everyone and welcome to another DC Universe Online live stream. My name is Meps, I'm your community manager, and today we are here to talk about the artifacts coming in Atlantis. I have special guests with me. We have lead systems designer Aver.
Hello, everybody.
And we have, on his first stream ever, Batuba,
Hey,
also
everybody.
a systems designer who's been working on these artifacts. Quick reminder, Atlantis goes out November 8th,
Yep.
which is next
Super,
Thursday.
Super soon.
And these artifacts will go out with it, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
Before we jump into these artifacts, though, how about what are artifacts in the first place? Do you want to just give the quick rundown of it?
Yeah, sure. So artifacts are items in the game that you get, and as you play through, you get nth metal, and you can level them up. Generally, they're themed after big, powerful items that you find in the DC universe, and so they're kind of a way to get your character to experience, having some really cool, legendary artifacts from, DC lore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they're super cool artifacts, right? These are powerful, iconic things most of the time, right?
So most of the time, I mean, most of them you can often find in DC lore. Sometimes they just exist in our universe.
Sure.
But one of kind of the functionalities that we like them to have is we like them to kind of expand your play styles, right? We want you to go in and say, hey, if you get this and level it up and you get all the breakthroughs and all that stuff, you can do cool new things and focus, on.
Están haciendo un recuento más o menos de lo que son los artefactos, obviamente que son artefactos poderosos, icónicos.
Cool. So that's artifacts. There's a guide on our website, dcuniverseonline.com, with more info, and can ask us questions after the stream on the forums. If you're new to artifacts. If you're not new to artifacts, then you're just dying to find out what we did for Atlantis, right?
Lo que son los artefactos,
So, let's start there. Aver, you built these for Atlantis. How did the setting and the episode story and stuff impact what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so it actually, this is the first time that we've associated artifacts directly with the content that we were building, right? And so Atlantis is a great place to do it. It's mysterious, it's expansive, there's a lot of magic going on, there are a lot of really cool settings that kind of provided ample ground or under the sea, I don't know, ample space really for us to kind of explore. And so you'll be visiting different places that you can actually see some of these objects in, and some of the characters are really trying to get their hands on artifacts. And the Silent School, for instance, is a place that you can go to, and you'll either fight against areas that have some of these artifacts in them, or itself, the Silent School is kind of a repository for these things, and so you'll be seeing them in game. You'll be seeing characters that have have gotten artifacts. So really, it's just felt like a great fit. It felt like a no-brainer. Like, hey, you should do this.
Awesome. All right, Juan, we're gonna move on to the first artifact. Tell us more about the comic roots.
Diciendo básicamente que esta es la primera vez que van a sacar artefactos relacionados directamente con un DLC. Y pues varios de estos artefactos los vamos a poder ver dentro del episodio.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the comic roots, and then we'll show the images.
Alright, so the Manacles of Force, they come from the Dead King Atlan, using extremely powerful character in the lore of Atlantis, and basically these are very, he uses these to create protective shields to defend himself and his allies as well. So that would be the main aspect of them. 2 of our artifacts actually are based around Atlan, and these are, I believe, 7 different powerful weapons, and these are just 2 of those weapons.
Right, yeah, 7 was too many.
Chavo, este como que tener un efecto interesante. Si es lo que pienso, que son como campos de fuerza.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look at some comic book art for those manacles. That's pretty cool.
Están hablando de campos de fuerza protectores y tal.
Although the chains, maybe not comfortable.
Right. No, I don't imagine that they were super comfortable, but you know, that's fine. They're powerful, right?
You might be hitting yourself.
Well, you smash them together.
Apparently, yeah. So we went there. We went there for that. Okay. Let's go on to the second artifact, the Dead King's Scepter. Again, Juan.
O sea, no los van a mostrar, van a hablar de ellos primero.
Alright, well, again, this is another one of the legendary weapons that King Atlan used actually to fight his brother Orion. And, well, apparently this artifact is so strong that it was able to cause earthquakes that brought Atlantis under the ocean.
Okay, that sounds overpowered.
It is overpowered, and
it does that. No, wait, sorry.
Yes, that does not happen. Okay, so basically, what we wanted to do is we wanted to reflect this artifact with that kind of power, and to really
como que es el EPS,
what this artifact is all about. So.
Estamos hablando de un poder increíble que puede causar terremotos.
After this,
okay.
we will get into specifics about gameplay and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so that's basically the history. He uses this to cause earthquakes and bring Atlantis under the ocean.
So something that we tried with these ones that again we'll kind of show later on is that we felt that actually showing the item in
y el otro puede ser de controlador, el de los Manacles of Force,
a lot of these things you'll see them in the comics and then you'll actually get to see them in game, and we'll show you. I don't want to say too much quite yet, but that was a pretty exciting thing too.
Yeah. Okay, just moving on. We got a third artifact. It's the Orb of Orion. Ver,
right.
Tell us about where that comes from.
So the Orion is a mysterious character, kind of from the past. He's an Atlantean, and he had lots of magic, and he was immortal. And so, he had artifacts and whatnot. And so we kind of took the immortal magician and artifact thing and smashed them together and created the Orb of Orion.
I really like this guy.
Orion, not Orion.
Not Orion.
Orion.
Yeah.
Orion.
Nerd praise in there. Let me know. Just
Ryan.
Read what she writes.
Yeah, that's good. So I mean, this is a comic art I pulled. He's kind of a badass dude.
Yeah. No, he's
un inmortal, un Atlante inmortal,
crazy magic skills.
Que era un hechicero.
And so he's
en tiempos del Atlantis, pero qué sé yo, que casi que 45,000 años atrás.
And you probably said this, but I wasn't listening.
Antes de que Atlantis se hundiera.
This is a thing that's just in our universe, right?
Yes, this object is just in our universe, much like the next one we'll talk about.
Okay.
It's not directly from comic lore.
Okay. Well, let's just go to the next one then.
Orion is obviously.
Right. The next one is the Eye of Gemini.
Right.
What's up with that?
So the Eye of Gemini is actually really cool, and that is one that you'll specifically get to encounter in the Silent School. I don't want to spoil too much. But you'll be able to see different manifestations of the Eye of Gemini, and that's actually something that's kind of core to its theme, is that there are different manifestations that do kind of different things, and so it was a really fun one to develop and kind of attach the visuals and kind of the experience of the content, convey at least some of that in the actions.
Chavo, estos 4 artefactos, si son lo que estoy pensando, suenan.
Okay, we're gonna get in game shortly.
4,
but
por las descripciones que dieron,
let's talk a little bit about how we design these. Ver, you kind of touched on it a little bit with wanting to branch out in different play styles, but how do these 4 kind of specifically set up that kind of end game, or your end game goal of making the artifact system expand playstyles.
Right. So if you guys can remember way back in the day for Stats Revamp, not that long ago, but we, you know, as we went through and we kind of looked at the back-end systems, which is super exciting for us, you know, we were able to set it up in such a way that we could create kind of like handholds or like open up space, you know, with not only our tools but the game systems, so that we can make new items that change the way you play and kind of allow you to focus on things that you find interesting. And so, you know, this is, you know, a large addition, I'll say, to the artifacts available, and they, you know, open up options for you to do things that maybe you don't normally get to do, which hopefully will be a lot of fun, and will continue to, you know, add new playstyles and new ways to advance those playstyles and add kind of options and whatnot. And this is, you know, one of our major attempts to kind of bring that to the forefront. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we show you individual ones.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, that's sort of the gist of it. And I've made a couple forum posts and stuff.
Hablando de cosas que no podrías hacer normalmente sin los artefactos.
Steam.
And Juan, you designed most of these, right? Like the actual in-game implementation.
That is correct.
That is correct.
A lot of team effort, though.
Sure, of course. Systems is a good happy family down there.
So happy.
And I say down there because you guys have moved down to your fancy office, but
sad.
nobody cares about that. Okay. You designed these specifically to have some synergy with other artifacts, right? You don't have to go into which artifacts go with which right now, but what's your goal there? Why do that?
My goal is to start looking at how artifacts might interact with other artifacts. So I want to start looking at having certain synergies between them, and this includes older artifacts, current
Sinergia entre
artifacts, future
artefactos,
artifacts
weón.
as well.
Buenas tardes, Hola, aquí presente.
So
¿Qué
that
tal?
way,
Harrison, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido a este video, hermano.
Javier was saying, Javier
Aver.
was saying before,
Surprisingly difficult to say.
O sea que un
was saying
artefacto puede
before
potenciar
about
otro.
creating builds. So we want players to start looking at these artifacts and saying, hey, if I match these three artifacts together, I feel like a good synergy between them, and it allows me a new kind of gameplay. So we want them to have that kind of competitive gameplay.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, sorry, I'm interjecting. On the systems team, we enjoy, you know, lots of TCGs. We enjoy board games and stuff like that, and the options that those sorts of games provide, and many.
Están diciendo que estos nuevos 4 artefactos van a añadir sinergias a artefactos que ya están en el juego. De manera que tú puedas potenciar básicamente artefactos.
All right, we're going to jump in game now, and that's the background to these artifacts. We wanted to share a bit about our design and our goals and that kind of thing. Hope you enjoyed that. Now we're going to tell you about the actual things that you come here to learn. First of all, Juan, how do you get these in Atlantis?
So you get them just by running regular content. So by completing the solo, you'll get the Dead King Scepter. By completing the alert, you'll get the Eye of Gemini, and they're just given to you.
Yeah, just as missions, right?
Correct.
Yeah, as for missions.
These
So
will be on your journal as soon as the content begins, and you'll be able to hit the complete button as soon as you're done and have your artifacts.
nice. So relatively easy
yes.
to acquire these artifacts. Okay. Of course, you do have to level them up after you acquire them.
Son fáciles de obtener, nada más completando el solo te dan uno,
Who wants to drive?
completando el dúo, el
can do
alerta
like
te dan otro,
We do
completando
like
las
a
dos
tandem
te dan los
where I
otros.
can use the keyboard and you can use the mouse. No?
Alright.
It's up to you.
Alright, this is gonna be a mess because he
That's
plays
awkward.
inverted.
Oh,
and
here,
I don't.
just
No, this isn't
switch it.
weird.
It's fine.
You play inverted?
Yes.
Who does that?
Everybody.
That's not true. We have
plays
one
games.
systems
Chat.
designer that does that, and he goes around and ruins all of the testing PCs for
Well,
everybody. And you sit down.
I
and
hate
you're
to
like,
break it to you, but he is
That's-
absolutely correct, and you are wrong. So
yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
So
False.
now it's broken, and you can
So
know
I
how to
get-
learn to use a mouse. Okay.
are we in game now? Or
Yes,
okay.
we were looking at the game,
Can I open
and
inventory and
yes,
look at them? Ooh,
let's
shiny.
show the manacles and equip them. Maybe
Mierda,
Equip them
mierda,
first.
bro.
Are we looking at the UI or just equip it?
Boom.
we can. Yeah, let's look at the tooltip
Okay.
and explain what it does.
Alright. So, do you want to talk about this one or?
You moved off here.
Oh, sorry. So,
There you go. So yeah, here I'll kind of jump into it. So, like I mentioned before, we kind of wanted to give you options for you know, different ways to play, or at least help you in specific scenarios in the game. And so, the Manacles of Force are a tank recommended item, though really a lot of people can make use of them if you don't like dying. You'll probably like this one. And so the idea here was that. You know, tanks or anybody really are often afraid of taking a large portion of health at one time, and so we wanted to create kind of a fail-safe for that, and then have that interact with shields in an interesting way. So,
yeah.
Very cool.
So the actual effect of it is on every 30 to 25 seconds, depending on your rank. If you take 25% or more of your max HP and damage
in one hit,
you will become unshakable. So for the next 3 and then later on 5 seconds at higher rank, you will be taking 50% less damage, and that other 50% that you absorbed will be given to you over time. So this will help blanket out that damage. So not only can you pop a shield afterwards to help mitigate those damage ticks, but also healers, it'll help healers out a lot to keep tanks alive.
Como la mecánica del Rage, un poco parecido.
For healers as well, because you also
Pero no que te regresa de golpe, sino que te regresa paulatinamente.
Which, reduces all cooldowns on your
Cuando
shields
tienes el
by
efecto
10%.
activo.
So hopefully there's a synergy between not only the proc but the shield afterwards to help mitigate that damage tick that you're taking.
Awesome.
And they have some pretty cool looking effects to them too.
Oh, speaking of the effects, let's show the effects right now.
Este es de tanque, este va a ser el que va a tener que tener los tanques sí o sí.
Your powers combined, we can
Sí,
move forward in a video
Activate
game.
and just turn around, I guess.
here, are you
Tanque
ready?
que no tenga hasta el
Yeah,
respaldo,
ready?
tanque
Alright,
pichón.
activating. Oh, turn. You have the mouse.
No, dude.
Mierda, y se les activan visualmente, weón.
Alright,
Qué
so
chulería,
as you
weón.
can see, you'll have the manacles, large golden manacles, and which will show when you have that buff. And you'll also be seeing these little particles flying at you, and that's the damage over time that you're taking. So the damage over time might outlast the actual buff itself, because it'll last from the last time you took damage until the end of the duration of those damage ticks. So should we try
Yeah, let's show it a
again?
couple more times.
So what
código,
we kind of tried to do with these ones, as I mentioned earlier, is show the actual artifact itself, you know, on the character, near the character, whatever. And so you'll note, you know, that those are the Manacles of Force. You know, they flash in, they've got cool particles, and there's some fun sounds and stuff as well. But we really want to tie, you know, the actual feeling and the look into your character, so that you can be a part of that lore, which I think is pretty cool, and you know, turned
Sí, yo
out
creo que va más para el de hielo o hasta el de fuego,
Nice.
weón.
Okay.
Pero el de Rage por la mecánica que tiene el Rage.
Any questions from the chat channel on Manacles?
so many questions.
Let's see.
Sí, exacto. Para el tanque de fuego lo veo bien.
Lots of talk about ice
Yeah,
being
Yeah.
awesome.
that's weird. Yeah, I don't know why they
All right,
connected that.
moving on.
That's
Let's
the test name we had for these were the Manacles. Yeah,
Manacles.
yeah. People were asking about it.
I don't get it.
No.
Yeah.
Aunque por cómo funciona, porque
That's
nada
what
más
we
es
refer
al
to in this
25%
there was their code
name.
que te quiten el 25% de vida, es que
That's
se activa el
exciting.
efecto,
Thanks for
weón,
sharing
y
that.
para el Rage se van a estar bajando más con la mecánica, weón.
I like confiding things
Para
in
el
the
Rage,
I guess.
pensándolo bien
Yeah,
tampoco
I
es
see.
que...
I see. Okay, let's talk about the Dead
Preocupes,
King
Juan.
Scepter. Juan, what were you doing? How's it work?
Okay, so Dead King Scepter, as I said before, we're looking to create something that feels very powerful, just because the artifact lore is extremely powerful. Imagine it
Ya, no han
creates
dicho nada
earthquakes
todavía de
that can
controller.
bring Atlantis under the ocean, you know, so we want an ability that could reflect that kind of damage within our universe. And so
Déjame leer,
what we
gordo.
thought was, well, Orbital Strike does a lot of damage, right? So what happens if we buff up Orbital Strike some?
Right,
So-
and sorry to
No,
interrupt.
go ahead.
But kind of one of the things that you know, going back to talking about options, which you'll probably get tired of hearing from me. But in this case, you know, we picked an area, Orbital Strike, and trinkets and whatnot to highlight and to kind of create like a foothold or an area that we're able to.
Verga, o sea, este básicamente lo que hace es reducir el cooldown del Orbital Strike, de las mascotas, de los trinkets, de todo. Y aparte de eso, incrementa el daño del Orbital en
So
20%.
we're just, you know, as we're going along, we're kind of sprinkling in these different mechanics that we may.
Te dije que era para DPS. Las estadísticas y DPS de Mike además, porque da poder, vida y Mike. Sí, es DPS de Mike, es para DPS de Mike.
Okay.
En peor no le serviría ninguna precisión. Exactamente.
Nice.
Which is also a DPS increase if
cambiaría, si yo fuera DPS, bueno, con los DPS de Mike creo que cambiaría el tetraedron por
then also the Orbital Strike normally has 5 times that it strikes a target or multiple targets, now it'll strike 6 times. So an additional 20%.
Sí, porque encima puedes tirar el supply también 10% antes, o sea, más rápido.
Are subject to change in testing.
Right.
We should have mentioned that. Yeah.
So we after these get to PC test and we test them, you know, sometimes big changes happen, sometimes we need to tweak things.
Dice Camilo, bienvenido al stream. Hermano, es que es bueno, pero yo creo que nada más basta con pagar la suscripción, ¿no? No hace falta estar abriendo las cápsulas ni nada de esas mierdas.
Definitely looking for your feedback once we're on test.
Bueno, mi opinión, es lo que yo hago, ¿no?
Subject to change. All right. Yeah.
As Avir was mentioning before about synergies with other artifacts. What's interesting is some of the artifacts, our design position is also leave some of our artifacts open to future synergies.
Verga, yo hacía como que 800.000 de daño en 8 targets con el Orbital, weón. 800.000, el 10% de 800.000 sería 160, o sea que estarías haciendo 1.000.000 de daño con el Orbital. Y lo podrías tirar, o sea, un cuarto antes.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Let's see it in game.
Creo que lo hacen también para contrarrestar la precisión, weón. Porque quieras o no, weón, le va a dar un buff a Mike. O sea, no solo por las estadísticas, sino por el hecho de que tires el orbital antes, weón. Vas a tirar más órbitas en el array, vas a tirar tu supply, tu trinket mucho más seguido que un DPS de precisión, por lo menos.
Alright, so, well, let's just show it and then we'll talk about it.
Boom. Yeah, so effectively you're kind of using the Dead King Scepter kind of as a focus, or you know, something to draw power from, and so it appears in front of you, and there are multiple tiers of visuals that are added up as you go through the different breakthroughs, right? And so in this one, you see, bam, the big scepter that appears in front of you, which looks like the icon and looks like the comics, and is really you know, tied in and kind of fun. And then you know, as you upgrade it, you'll see the particles fly back and kind of infuse you with more power, and you can kind of see that here in a second. Oh, you're in.
No, yo después de haber subido el puto artefacto de mierda.
That's fine. So yeah, you can see the particles infuse you and
the
upgrade over top. So that's pretty cool.
Come on, let's use this for commands.
Okay.
Boom.
Perfect.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind. Secrets.
Do you want to show that again?
No, va a sacar nada de precisión, va a ser uno más para healer, weón, y el otro tiene que ser de controller en mi opinión.
That's how I roll.
Excellent.
Get it.
The puns.
Pero definitivamente ponen las builds de Mike mucho más interesantes, ¿no? Hay que ver cómo escala, bueno, todo esto.
So as we said, we're still testing some stuff, and there you go. You didn't target him, but that's fine.
That's fine.
No, yo creo que va a ayudar bastante, de hecho.
Boom.
Sí, va a ayudar bastante,
all
¿no?
that
O sea,
power
normal,
to
mejor.
explode yourself.
Nice.
En teoría vas a estar tirando.
Going back, we acquire these from missions.
Cuenta por órbita. ¿Cuántas órbitas puedes tirar en una array de media hora?
Yes, you can. So these are open for everybody. These while the event is
DPS
running.
de precisión tira 6 órbitas. Tú estarías como Mike tirando, ok, bueno, 8.
Cool.
2 órbitas más, bueno, 2 millones más.
Shall we?
We got some loot there.
All right. Ruining my UI.
What do we have next here? What's going on? The orb of Orion.
Yeah. Ryan. Ryan.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So this one, boom. Here we go. This one's pretty cool. We actually went back, and the goal here, like we said, we want to change playstyles, or we want to allow you the option to change playstyles, and so this one affects your priority heals and actually makes it more potent, but also increases the cooldown and opens up space for you to.
What the fuck?
You know, maybe other
Marico, weón, healer OP, weón. El artefacto ideal para
healer. What we want to allow you to do is still have amazing healing power, but also give you space to make some options and kind of do something else. And then there's sort of a mini game to figure out how much efficiency you're able to kind of eke out of this artifact. And so I won't
aumenta la potencia, weón.
Batuba here can explain some kind of the details.
All right, perfect. So,
o sea, reduce el coste.
Just saw a question on chat.
Y el cooldown.
Yes, artifacts are
300%.
rank 160 maximum.
Yep.
So just
no change.
No change.
Haces como un summon, o sea, invocas a un acolito espectral.
Really good for healers.
Y ese acolito espectral también va a estar casteando healing prioritario.
Is like your spammable heal.
Y dura 9 segundos.
0.5 second cooldown.
It's real fast.
So it's real fast, and its heal amount is kind of marginal.
So who does it heal real quick?
So priority heal heals the healer as well as the lowest health target in your group.
Loco, weón, qué artefacto, weón. Este va a ser el risk dispenser de los healers.
300% more priority heal.
Healer que no tenga esto, weón.
300% more power.
Se vaya el array, loco.
No mames. Cooldown. So I mean, cooldown's about a second and a half. So sound 300% sounds like a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
But so basically, what happens is you're gonna summon this spectral acolyte.
Son Demon Fan, weón, y si eres eléctrico o sorcery, eso que tiene escudo, el de la supercarga. Y desechas el Star Heart Fragment, que es una mierda.
So at lower ranks it should heal.
Loco, te dije, weón, te dije. Espérate, mamón, no le metas nada de Star Heart Fragment porque ese es el que se va para la mierda.
What's interesting about this is that after 1.5 seconds, when your priority heal cooldown is available again, you can use it again if you'd like, but you can only have one acolyte out at a time. But if you're able to and you don't require that big burst heal, you can just kind of let him go for however long it's going to be and really eke out quite a bit of efficiency. And so, it works as a kind of as a solo healer, or even kind of like as an off healer, or maybe if you're playing solo and you're having a difficult time, you're able to use it. And so, I actually find this artifact a lot of fun to just.
Verga, loco, creo que es de todos es el mejor que ha mostrado, weón. Que me encantan los efectos, las stats.
Let's see. So we mentioned
perfecto para el rol,
Orion being kind of a figure in the silent school and stuff like that, and you'll see kind of a symbol everywhere. And so the Scepter acolyte also looks like some NPCs that you may be seeing in the silent school. So let's pull them up and see what's up.
Sure. All right. I believe Nerdapro was telling us that this NPC is behind an invisible wall. So let's summon a new one.
Oh yeah. That's what she meant.
We didn't know.
All right. So there's a new one. Reason I bring this up is let's take a look at your HP real quick. So we're gonna hurt ourselves. Okay. Don't try this at home, kids.
It's a safe environment.
Es que loco.
We should be in healers.
Perfect.
Okay, it's just to keep us in combat. So.
All right. Very nice.
All right, here we go.
Mira, weón, sale el aprendiz espectral, weón, y cura también igual que tú, weón.
That's fine. So those priority heals will be similar to your base priority heal, so it's pretty strong.
Qué cool, weón.
So basically, that'll be healing both you and the lowest heal target at all times, and that will be.
Es como lanzar dos prioritarios, weón, al mismo tiempo. Lanzas el tuyo y el otro muñequito, la pet esta del artefacto está también tirando prioritarios, weón.
Its previous target.
Está OP, weón.
It'll jump targets, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, with each cast, he essentially reprioritizes, and so should be quite efficient. He could be he or she.
Yeah, and it's our hopes that with this time that the
yo creo que hasta solo healer va a ser más fácil irlo solo healer.
That they're able to either attack or do.
Artefacto 160, weón. Eres el dios del healer.
What was one of the things that you found effective while during playtesting and draft design? Were there other artifacts or
no lo supero todavía,
synergistic or that you would use your time doing?
So for example, since this has a high power cost, I find that using like the Demon's Fang is extremely useful during this time because those next 6 attacks that I do are generating
no sé.
power
Cuando
back
ponga
for me,
bien a Khadgar,
and I have the time to
voy a aventar a ver si
And
puedo
I have
curar
the
solo.
time to,
Pero ya cuando tenga,
look
todavía
at,
no.
raid
TLC no
mechanics
creo.
and make sure
Hoy
I'm
le compré
standing
skill point, lo
stuff.
dejé en 250 skill
You know,
point.
I might have to block
Nobody
at a
ever
certain point, you know, and this really helps.
Para que no
have
se
me a
estén
little
quejando
peace
de
of
heal
mind
después,
as
mamá.
I'm healing.
Yeah, I like that it kind of shaves some of the like the rough corners off, right? Like it's, you know, playing DCO is action, right? Like it's full of movement and you know the mechanics are moving you around a lot, and so what this allows you to kind of, you know, think about that, and then gives you options to, you know, either move like you were saying and avoid mechanics, or, you know, rally somebody or something like that, and you know that's really nice being healing. So.
What's the cooldown on the acolyte itself?
There's no cooldown. You just can't have 2 acolytes at once. So as soon as
Okay.
that acolyte flies off.
How long does it last?
So at lower ranks it lasts about 6 seconds, and at higher ranks it lasts 9 seconds.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Está muy
Cool.
bien.
Do you want to show it again? Maybe not
Sure.
in God mode? I think.
Hasta ahora es
So
mi
you
favorito.
have to
No
make
sé,
sure
bueno.
your hit points are lower and whatnot.
Sure. I gotta keep remembering to use this button. Else I get yelled at.
Boom. Don't forget God mode.
I will.
Don't forget it.
Sorry. There we go. So you can see that was a huge burst heal right there.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then
There we go.
so now the pet is just sitting there healing. You won't see numbers
Just
now
nailing it.
because I'm
Mhm.
above max HP now. So
Yeah, but if you were grouped
but
up,
you see,
it'd be-
and now I can just summon him again.
Nice.
But you can see it's a large power cost for the player. So the longer you let your pet out to do things for you, the more mana efficient it is for you.
right. Yeah. So, like we were saying, you know, with options, oftentimes there's lots of trade-offs and whatnot, and so I wasn't going to say, you know, there's sometimes trade-offs, and so in this case, in order to get that extra time, you know, you take a larger chunk of power right off the bat, but you don't lose any efficiency, at least in the current iteration, and so, you know, it's not too painful. So, yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
I think we're on to
We got one more, folks.
All right, let's see.
best for last.
The best for last. This is a very
A ver, que
visually
roll.
impressive one, right? And so the
roll.
last one is the Eye of Gemini. Check that out. So that's a lot of text.
Precisión,
lots of colors and
dominio,
stuff, but,
restauración,
as we were
vitalización
mentioning
y
earlier,
magia.
there's lots of manifestations of you know, the Eye of Gemini and whatnot in the Silent School, and when you get in the content, you'll get to kind of experience some of that. But in this case, we wanted to make an artifact that worked with supercharges, because we find supercharge a very interesting mechanic to kind of build up to a point and then have like a giant effect that's really impactful and fun, right? And so being able to trigger things off of that sounds like we can, you know, work towards even a larger impact. And so that's what the Eye of Gemini does, is when you use a supercharge, it will actually proc one of 2 fields, and I'll let Batuba describe that. But what we really wanted to do was help you capitalize on a big impactful moment and make it even more impactful, and do that by communicating with your group. So.
Oh, quick question. What role is this artifact for?
Oh man, it's for all of the roles.
Everybody.
Every role.
Everybody can use
Everybody
this one.
wins on this
Yeah.
one.
And we'll go through that.
All right, perfect. So as you can see, first little point is this artifact gives you already 3% to precision, dominance, restoration, vitalization, and might. We don't have any artifact like that.
Right, that's the
Stats.
first time.
Just
That's
stats.
yeah,
Straight stats.
that's the first time we've done that.
So yes, and the reason, the design behind that is that we want this artifact to be viable and interesting for all roles, and which is also interesting, the fact that since everybody's got 2 roles, this is an artifact that you might want to be using on both. So
Extra
and
good.
To kind of interject with one thing, the stats, I know that, you know, your primary stats in this case are going to be a little bit lower. So if you're, you know, a
Loco,
healer or
esto
something,
es
you're
para
gonna get a
volar a la
restoration,
mierda
but
los hats.
we put special things in the procs to kind of make up for that, and to, you know, ease maybe some.
O sea, que todo el daño de tu
Alright.
supercarga,
So,
weón,
let's go over
y de los que
what this
estén
artifact
alrededor
does.
tuyo cuando estés
So
esa
this
mierda.
artifact, upon casting a supercharge, any supercharge, you'll drop a field underneath you. So essentially you'll have the gaze of one of the eyes of one of the Gemini twins that is placing their attention on you, and depending on your role, you'll have a different kind of field that you place under your feet. So if you're a DPS or a controller, you're gonna drop a field that accumulates all damage done while anybody in that field does damage. It'll accumulate 20% of that damage and do it as a nuke to everything around you after the field
Loco, ¿te imaginas si esta mierda, weón? Los 4 DPS,
weón,
3 DPS, weón.
And later on it'll last 6 seconds.
Nice.
So if I drop this field, everybody's damage that they do, they'll still do their normal damage, and then after that, an additional 20% damage from what everybody did will count as my DPS towards everybody else.
Right, it's actually, this one is deceptively powerful because with the upgrade, so it starts at 3 seconds is how long the field lasts for, and then at 6 seconds, you're effectively doubling the amount of damage that you can accumulate and put out, and so that breakthrough is actually quite significant. And then we have, of course, the regen stuff in there as well.
Correct. Since controllers drop this as well, this is also going to give you 1% power back per second, and this power will also affect controllers, which is nice. A little self-regen for controllers as well. And at higher ranks, this will also provide, and this particular bonus will be for both fields, will give you 1% supercharge back every second, and that's for everybody in this field. So
I see a quick question. Somebody asked if they stack with each other. So so the major effects stack with each other. The regen effects do not stack with each other. So if you have the supercharged one, really is the only one I believe that does not stack. But the health and the accumulation and the power, that can all happen at the same time.
Más que todo para controller.
So the next field will be if you're either a healer or a tank. You'll drop a field that will heal everybody in it for 3% of max HP every second. And at the end, there will be like a little explosion heal for all that healing ticks that you took. You'll take that same amount as one big burst heal at the end. So if you healed 9% of your health over 3 seconds, you'll get another 9%
siempre pensando en sus estadísticas personales, pensando en la sinergia del equipo.
Numbers.
El efecto es muy sádico, weón. Si lo ciclan 3 FPS, weón, se va a la mierda todo lo que esté matando.
Healers, they might want to start looking at using maybe
es más, el controlador también lo puede utilizar y también es la misma madre, porque van a dejar como un glifo de... Imagínate el glifo de celestial, weón, algo así, weón. Y los que estén dentro, todo el daño de las personas todo el daño que hagan las personas que estén dentro de ese símbolo se va, el 20% de todo ese daño pues lo vas a hacer de nuevo al final.
Question from chat. When this is the controller damage one?
Cuando Fernando,
does Orbital Strike damage?
Están interesantes, ¿no? Están todos interesantes. Creo que el de tanque no fue, o sea, es bueno el de tanque, pero no, por lo menos para Rage, que es mi rol, que es mi poder, no lo veo súper necesario.
That's essentially it, for the effects.
Yes.
Alright, let's take a look at...
This also has really strong synergy.
Scrapping
the soul cloak.
Yes.
Really strong synergy.
Yeah, so I
enjoyed testing how tiene que activar supercarga para que salga.
I was super excited when the two had suggested doing
cuando se acabe el episodio, bueno, no que se acabe, cuando ahorita el 8 de noviembre Mario va a salir el nuevo episodio DLC que va a ser Atlantes. Mira, ves, ese
So this is the heal one. I think I'm healing myself twice now because whatever supercharge I just used. I'm not sure which supercharge that was. But basically, yeah. So this green area is the field where any players can stand in, and they'll receive that effect. They'll receive the heal over time, and then at the end there will be a little heal burst.
Cool.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I believe if we get out of God mode, you have a particle around your feet supplying that it could be.
I think
I like it. Se lo podrían
Never
utilizar
mind.
para mi healer
Just
de
kidding.
agua, weón.
Yeah.
Ah, no, pero
question,
no.
in-game
porque
development.
es
Is the
supercarga,
1%
weón.
supercharge that the group's
Qué
gaining
cagado.
back? That's only when you're in this field too. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So everything
All
is in
effects
this
are
field.
only
Yeah.
while in this field.
Okay.
So our hopes is players start communicating more with each other and start planning out strategies. You know, be like, hey, everybody, I'm about to use my supercharge. Stand in here. We're gonna get a big damage boost, or we know there's a large
Exacto,
wave
para
of
potenciar
damage
daño,
coming.
weón.
Let's stand in this healer tank circle and let's
De nada,
help
Mario.
mitigate this
Bienvenido al stream,
damage.
weón. Espero que
So,
lo disfrutes.
Yeah,
weón.
it was something.
Si te gusta el
it was
video,
something that I
obviamente,
found myself,
apóyame con un
you know,
like
during
ahí
playtesting,
y
saying, "Oh man, I'm
suscríbete al
about to
canal
use
si
my
no estás
supercharge. Like,
suscrito.
where should I be standing? You know, normally
Right.
stand out of the way, or try not to, you know, in some cases try not to clump up, or you know, don't be in front of your target and stuff like that. And so this helped me think more about positioning, and then I felt that the payoff was rather large, right? Like you can use them. You can either make a build that focuses on proccing it as much as possible, or being able to use, you know, or just think about using your supercharge at an opportune time when maybe you need the effect and stuff like that. And so there was lots of ways to use it. And even though the field isn't giant, you can fit a lot of people in there, and it applies to everybody in your group. So.
And Silky Balls brings up a good point there. So everyone standing here, boss wipes group, that is definitely a possibility. So it's about knowing when's the opportune moment to drop these things.
There is risk involved. Yeah.
There's risk involved. Risk versus reward,
¿Te
you know.
imaginas, weón, que
So
You
let's
show the
DPS.
que vayan a hacer
Yeah.
esa mierda, vengan todos y se acumulen, weón, y después salga la mierda esa volando, weón, en un área y los mate a todos, weón. Guay, grupal, a la mierda.
celestial. Oh, you just wanna.
Just wants to do some game.
I see. Is this for group members in the field or anybody in the field?
Anybody in the field.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, group
No,
members.
it's
Sorry.
no. I was like,
Group
that
members. I was
doesn't
like, wait.
sound right.
No,
It should be. It should be
it's group members.
in the
Yes. All right, so let's see. So ignore the heal because that's just the supercharge. So you can see this one's an orange one, and then when it disperses, it should do damage to the target.
There you
So that would be the damage. So as you can see, I just did 3 little attacks. It did 2,000 damage right there. So imagine 20% of people doing insane DPS. You
Right.
know, it's a huge damage boost.
What's kind of fun is if you have a lot of people kind of focusing on supercharges and stuff like that, you can kind of layer them and
Yo creo que
end
eso
up,
le serviría
you
más a
know,
un troller,
having
weón,
these
que
up
quiera
fairly
potenciar el daño del grupo.
and
Que sea como un
accumulating a
buffer, weón.
significant amount of extra
Bufeador.
damage as long as you do coordinate.
Porque en
As
parte es verdad
mentioned,
lo que dice,
you
weón,
know, in
porque
some
si
cases
no te
there'll
da
be,
nada de estadísticas
negatives, but
ofensivas como
it's
Might
kind
o
of a trade-off,
precisión,
and
pues
it's something that, you know, if you're going to
no
change
sé si el
the way you
efecto
play,
justifique esa pérdida de
we're hoping that
estadísticas
it's worth it. I mean, the
iniciales.
numbers say it's worth it.
O sea, el efecto
and
está
so
chulo, pero el problema es que
just have to
pierdes stats,
be
es
mindful.
verdad.
But,
And
Creo que nada más te da vida y poder.
getting into that, how should players test these artifacts? What information do you want from them when these hit the test server today?
right. So, wait, when?
Today. When it's
Today.
Yeah.
They're ready, right?
They're ready.
I think we're good. So
Did I lie?
Uh,
I, don't-
no.
I think it's today.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely today. So
No,
really
ese
working for
efecto
anything.
nada
So we
más
have
se
done,
dispara
a significant amount of internal
cuando,
playtesting,
cuando
and
utilizas una
we
supercarga.
wanted to give you guys a chance to give
No, y lo
feedback
estaba
and talk
mostrando,
about,
pero es que es verdad
you
lo que
know,
él
are they
dice. Él
powerful
hizo
enough? Are they
6 taps de
too
daño, weón.
powerful? You know, if they're
Y
any
ponte que hizo,
different,
creo
which is a thing
que
that you find
9000
weird
y
that's
por eso
gonna
que
be
salió ese
consistent
ticket de
and
2000,
like
weón.
that.
Pero ponte
And
que
of course,
¿cuánto es lo máximo que tú has hecho con una supercarga? Weón? Ahora imagínate que tú activas tu supercarga, pero le avisas a los demás del grupo, a los otros DPS o a todo el grupo que vas a lanzar la tuya, va a salir en el área, todos se meten ahí y empiezan a hacer DPS en ese momento, weón, ¿verdad? Y todo el daño que hagan en eso, en ese tiempo, cuando salga el aura, se va a reflejar.
stuff is pretty high priority, but really we just, you know, get out there and have a conversation about it and tell us what you think.
Cool. People are asking again to have explained to them what happens when multiple people use the fields for the
I
eye.
can take that. Okay, so let's say 3 DPSers throw down the field at the same time. Every person that dropped the field will get that accumulation of everybody's damage. And again, this is only accumulating your white damage, yellow damage. So basically auto attacks, abilities, supercharges, that kind of thing. So it's not going to be picking up any kind of trinkets or
Right.
or anything. So if you have 3 fields stacked, you should be getting the damage effects from 3 different fields, personalized to each person that dropped it. And at the end of that, The only thing that won't mix is like the supercharge bonus. You won't. If you have 3 fields, you're not going to be getting 3% per stack, or 3% per tick. You'll only still get that 1%. So basically, you can stack if that's what you want to do. But to optimize yourself, you probably want to do it one after another.
For healing, do they?
Es lo que yo dije, no conviene tirarlo todo al mismo tiempo, sino ciclarlo. Por lo menos viene de lanza su supercarga ofensiva con supply y toda mierda, pues pasamos por encima de supply, tiramos hacemos DPS, le hace su supercarga. Cuando se vaya el círculo de death, por ejemplo, después viene, no sé, Seal. Y Seal manda su supercarga con el efecto. Obviamente también se pone en el círculo para hacer más daño y todo el daño adicional, ese 20% se refleja. Y así, yo creo que es la mejor manera de utilizar este tipo de
They're coming out today on test. You get them through missions in Atlantis, and you can level them up when Atlantis launches.
That's right.
Perfect.
Did you miss anything, guys? Anything at all?
So.
No, that's what
Okay.
I will find out in a minute.
So yeah, look for synergies. Look for synergy with current existing artifacts, and it is double XP weekend
for artifacts. Yes, you might wanna get one that works. You know, leveled up might be a good idea if you're hanging on to some nth metal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you on test in a little bit, and we'll see you November 8th when Atlantis launches. And just a quick plug. Tomorrow we're doing an Extra Life charity live stream starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time. It'll be about 12 hours long. We're just going to have fun all day long. Come, stop by, hang out with us. Should be amazingly fun. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you guys later.
Por lo menos me aclaré con el tema de mis artefactos de DPS de precisión. Obviamente no salió ninguno, así que estoy bien. Voy a levelear los que tenía en mente. Pero con respecto a los de DPS, bueno, no sé, ese artefacto, el último, es como engañoso, ¿no? Puede ser también que sea bueno para tener los healers que utilicen supercarga o los trollers con supercarga para potenciar el daño de los DPS, bueno. Puede ser también que los DPS lo usen de Might, sobre todo los DPS de Might, bueno. Verga, bueno. Es que me imagino por lo menos un DPS Rage de Might utilizando esa mierda con Berserker, weón. Hace mierda todo lo que está alrededor, weón. ¿Ustedes qué opinan, weón? Bueno, Dead dice ahí que lo ve más de soporte. Hola, Ojinimbus. No, es que no sabía, bueno. Yo me lo suponía. Yo me suponía que no iba a haber más de precisión, honestamente, bueno. Pero me queda la duda, bueno, porque qué cosa puede pasar, bueno. Pero el de los artefactos creo que el que más me gustó fue el de Healer. El de Healer creo que fue el que más me gustó, weón. Después sería es el último, bueno, por el efecto está interesante. Lo único negativo o el contra es la pérdida de estadísticas, bueno, de daño. Y después sería, verga, no sé si entre el de tanque o el de los orbitals, bueno. Pues ese de los orbitals también va a pesar, bueno. Ese de los orbitals va a pesar sobre todo para ayudar a los DPS de Mike que tanto se quejan, bueno, que de precisión está roto. Bueno, esos extra orbitals que van a poder tener en las raíces se van a notar, bueno. Igual, no sé, bueno, están interesantes, son opciones, bueno, están interesantes. Creo que el que sí o sí que tiene que tener es el de Healer, bueno. El de Healer creo que es el mejor de todos, bueno. Después el de tanque, sí, bueno, pero aunque para el tanque de Rage no lo veo, bueno, porque la mecánica del Rage básicamente hace que te bajen 25% de vida cada rato, bueno, porque te la regenera, bueno. No tiene mucho sentido, bueno. A menos que las estadísticas sean buenas. También las stats, no sé. Dash dice que se va a quedar con el de Rao. No, pero es que ya le velé el artefacto de precisión a 160. Está juego que va a empezar desde el principio. Pero con los otros que tengo, con el de tierra, weón, y el de eléctrico y el de linterna, creo que sí, weón. Uno de estos los voy a levelear. Sobre todo creo que más el de para DPS de Mage, creo que me voy a inclinar más por el de el cetro del rey muerto de Team Scepter. Creo que es el mejor, ¿no? Pero bueno, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Se han incrementado las posibilidades, ¿no?, de los artefactos. Vamos a ver también si, como dice Directo, que es más viable ahora hacer tanque de fuego, bueno, con ese nuevo artefacto. Dilo sin llorar, ¿verdad? Dilo sin llorar, ¿verdad? Nah, bueno, o sea, hay DPS de Mage que pueden competir tranquilamente, bueno, con precisión, así que déjala llorar de la tuya. Seas bobo. Bueno, yo voy a seguir cerrando el stream, porque dijeron que los pusieron en este server. A lo mejor me animo. Voy a ir a cenar ahora y después me animo a ver si los checo. Como ahí puedes levelear esas mierdas, ¿no? A ver qué tal, ¿no? A ver qué pedo. Bueno, mi gente, muchas gracias por haberse unido al stream. Streamer mentiroso. Gracias por haberse unido como siempre al stream, por apoyar el canal, weón. Si les gustó el video, apóyenme ahí con un like, compartan en sus redes sociales, weón. Y yo los dejo y los veo hasta la próxima. Bye bye.